Hi, everybody.
And this is Vicki Draper, and we have,
Ariel Hubbard.
yes, and we are both Reiki Master teachers. And so we are doing an episode to share about Reiki, why you even want to care about Reiki and what it's all about for you and your pets, because people love it and animals really do too.
Absolutely. This
Um,
is another episode of Healing for Pets and People. And Vicki and I do this once a month. And it's usually the first Thursday of the month around the 10 o'clock hour. And we are so excited that you're watching us or listening to us today. And we have some fun stuff to share.
That's right. So, Ariel, why don't you start us out with what is Reiki? Why do people, even want to consider Reiki?
So, Reiki is a spiritually directed universal life force energy. It's an intelligent energy that passes through the practitioner, replenishes their energy flows, balances charges, and harmonizes their energy flow. And then it moves through the practitioner into the recipient, which could be a pet, it could be a person. And then it scans the body of the recipient. It looks for energetic imbalances, it looks for deficiencies, excesses. And then what it does is it provides the cells on a physical level. If you're doing it in person, it provides the cells the energy that they need to heal themselves. It makes them more efficient, more effective, and it can accelerate healing 6 to 20 times. If you send it at a distance, which we also both do, it also does the same thing. It's really incredible. But you can also send it to intentions if you are working at a distance, which is also extremely helpful.
Yes. And examples of that I use are when people like their pets at the ER, or their pet is, at the vets and not giving great news, and helping the pet settle and helping the pet's body cope with whatever is going on, because the guardian feels helpless at that time, and it really makes a difference.
And you can't always be there physically in person. So it's sending
Right.
long distance is helpful for that.
Yes,
Yes.
there's lots of reasons for distance, but that's yeah. So what's the most important thing you would like people to know about Reiki?
Reiki works at all levels. So some people come in because they have physical pain, and Reiki can address that. It can address asthma attacks, burns, allergies, postnasal drip, insomnia, and actually even hangovers, which is kind of funny, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
um, Physical pain, soreness, muscle injuries, all that kind of stuff. It's also great for teeth that are hurting, or if you've just had some dental surgery, it's really helpful for that. It's helpful for all that kind of stuff and many more things that I haven't mentioned. It also works with balancing the emotions. It helps clear and harmonize negative emotions and helps shift those out of the space. It helps clear our thoughts, helps us focus. It helps us address anxiety and negative repetitive thoughts or critical thoughts. And then it also helps us address spiritual issues like disengaging from people that we need to disengage from, or opening up our spirituality, or increasing our motivation to grow and develop spiritually. So those are all the different levels at which it works, and it only works for the highest good. You can work at any age. It definitely works with animals though. Vicki, do you want to share some stories about how you've helped animals with Reiki?
Well, I will. And so, the any age, I mean, that's like for us babies to seniors, and it's the same with kittens and puppies all the way to their throughout their whole life. I have some personal stories that I would love to share, because being a Reiki master, and I have been for years, years and years, and it's great to always keep learning. Just keep applying how will Reiki work in this situation. And so recently, I get my cats groomed. This is my first time in my life I've had longer haired cats, so I have to get them groomed. And before, I would set up Reiki for their experience, and one time I forgot. And the time I forgot, Spirit, my cat, came home with nicks in 3 places on him. I was like, oh my gosh. Reiki works. Not that I had a doubt, but it was so clear, the one time I forgot to set it up to support him. So that was easy. Back on, never forgetting that again.
You
then-
should explain that you can send Reiki to intentions and you can send it ahead of time. So like if you wanted, like she sent Reiki to her cat having a good grooming experience where he's, healthy, everything flows well, everything is working just fine. Forgot to do that one time.
Yes.
Yes.
And I like to add in there that no matter what space the other person is in, that my cats still feel peaceful. They still feel supported.
Yes.
Reiki. And I'm thinking, the case that the 3 nicks, that would have really been helpful. Sounds like the person was having they just weren't having a good time with the grooming experience. So then last week I had to take them in, it was their time for grooming. And I ended up being the handler, which means I was holding both of my kitties during their grooming experience while they get their bellies shaved because they're long haired. And if I don't get that shave, they get mats.
Oh,
so,
yes.
So I have to just keep that up at least twice a year. Anyway, so I was holding both of them, Spirit and Sapphire, and I was doing Reiki at the same time. And they both just melted in my arms, even though this razor, loud, noisy things coming up their belly, they were just like in the zone of Reiki. And I was like, okay, now I have a new thing I'm going to request is to be the handler for them. Because that extra, me being there and holding that Reiki space and them, nestling up against me made even more of an impact, that are really more settling and comfortable for them.
So one thing people should know is Reiki induces relaxation response, which is what she just described in her story, right? So that also means that people, they may fall asleep during a Reiki session. It doesn't mean that that's not working. It means it is working. It can lower people's experience of pain. I use it in pain management all the time. When I'm giving a massage, sometimes I'll stop, especially if it's uncomfortable because I'm breaking up adhesions or something, and then I'll Reiki the spot and literally I can feel the nociceptors, the pain receptors switch off. And I go, does that hurt anymore? They're like, no. How did you do that? So it's extremely effective. It's great for pets. Like you said, it's great for people too.
Oh, yes.
You also, like me, I give treatments in person with Reiki. I also do distance Reiki as well. And I send it to all kinds of intentions. I've done everything from helping people move to addressing chemotherapy and radiation in a cancer treatment. I've done that many times, to dental issues. One time I sent Reiki to myself. I've done this for clients too, but I sent Reiki to myself ahead of a dental appointment. And I sent some affirmations that I'd be relaxed and peaceful during the treatment, but I was also come through it quickly. And I had a speaking engagement less than an hour after my dental appointment. And I said, how long is this going to take? How long is it going to take for this to wear off? She said 5 hours. I'm like, that ain't going to cut it. I sent Reiki to myself while I was in the dental chair. I put my hands on myself. 45 minutes later, it had detoxed the chemicals from, the anesthesia, which is really helpful because, you can't go to a thick engagement like this. I mean, I just couldn't, that's what I sounded like in the dental chair because everything was all, anesthetized. So it is important. You can use it for a lot of different things and practical things like burns or like allergies, as I mentioned, or, esoteric things like emotions or like separation anxiety, or even working with depression. Now, we would never say that it cures anxiety or depression. It's an adjunct therapy, but it can help reduce the symptoms and the feelings and the issues around that.
Yes, it's very calming, like you said.
Yeah.
And the thing with Reiki that people might not understand is it's a self-healing tool as well.
Yes.
Think of Reiki as giving to others. And first and foremost, it's a self-healing tool. And you learn to do Reiki on yourself. And that that is so beneficial. My life has changed by doing daily self Reiki because I used to be very anxious, and now I start my days calmer and, with ease. It really is a self-healing tool, as well as then you have the abilities to help your loved ones, furry or two-legged.
And actually, a lot of times when I have clients who have health issues, I recommend that they get Reiki training so that they can treat, because it can help people manage their symptoms with long-term chronic diseases like autoimmune issues or diabetes. It can help work with that. And it's pretty significant in some ways. Sometimes people get significant results. Sometimes they get less, but they usually get some kind of positive result from working with themselves. Self-care is a major deficiency, and a lot of people don't really do it very well. And there is the physical aspect, like the beauty aspect. A lot of people will do their nails or their hair, but in terms of their internal self-care, they don't necessarily know how to do that. And if meditation's hard for you, Reiki is a great way to do this, because Reiki will help you go into a meditative state. But like if you like you have a problem, like meditation seems hard or difficult, if you get a Reiki training and then you Reiki yourself, right? That will help you start your self-care protocol, because it does enhance awareness of what's going on inside your body, because you can feel where the Reiki is traveling to, and it travels to where it's needed. So it teaches you how to be more self-aware of what's going on internally. And Vicki, you have a class coming up, right? What do you
I
teach? What do you teach?
I do. So what I wanted to share is, yes, so Reiki, you may hear Reiki level 1, Reiki level 2, Reiki Master. So there are different levels of the certification. Everyone starts with Reiki level 1, and that's the hands-on techniques that you learn. And then Reiki level 2 is where it opens up for distance that Ariel and I are talking about. And that really gives you more
Tools,
more
ability.
tools. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for, because it just really opens up instead of having to be in person. And the sky's the limit with what we can use Reiki on. And it's always with positive intent, because like Reiki does no harm. It's all positive. It's working with your natural body rhythms, you and your animals. And so the way to get Reiki certified is from a Reiki Master, and that Ariel and I both are Reiki Masters. So I do have a class coming up starting June 27th on Zoom, and it's going through September, and you'll be Reiki 1 and 2 certified. My classes focus a lot with the animals. Yes, you come away learning people. We practice a lot with the animals. The people that are drawn to me want to do Reiki with animals. And so I love it because I team up with a local shelter, and we work with kitties and animals in need as part of the training. So we're giving back as well as learning. And the students really love that piece too.
That's awesome. I love that. It's one of those things where, you're helping people and animals that are in a challenging situation. That's really a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so if you're interested, we'd love to have you. It's healingyuranimal.com. Go to classes and events, and you'll see it there, and you get all the information that you need.
I love it. I have ongoing opportunities for people to take Reiki. All they have to do is reach out to me at arielhubbard.com, and you guys can reach out and I can schedule a Reiki 1 or 2 or masterclass at your convenience. I used to do scheduled Reiki classes, and because of COVID and health changed things. Now what I usually do is an on-demand situation with that. So people will reach out and say, hey, I want to take a class. And I'll say, great, let's schedule it. And that's how I do it a lot with people these days. But
Yeah.
it's extremely helpful. And I should mention, it also accelerates your spiritual growth and development,
Oh, yes. Yes.
because it opens up your awareness It opens up your chakras, which opens up your ability to sense energy. It opens up your intuitive abilities, and it helps you become more aware of higher spiritual consciousness and more self-aware.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of benefits to taking a Reiki class for you, or if you're going to work with your animal also, because it helps you grow and develop as a person. It makes people more, I find it helps people become more compassionate, more loving, because now they have a way to actually do something about a difficult situation.
Yes, it's very empowering.
Yes.
Yes.
And people feel more positive because of that.
Yes.
Because so much in life feels like it's out of our control. And when you have the ability to send healing to someone, either in person or an animal, or like, they start coughing, like if somebody starts coughing and you get upset about it, if you have long distance access, you can send Reiki to that person so they feel better. And then that relieves stress in your own mind because hey, at least I did something to contribute. And for your animal, like if you're worried about your animal, you can give them treatments and help them feel better, which is great.
Yes, absolutely. And then you did mention Reiki Master classes. I am taking applications currently to have a Reiki Master class.
And that gives somebody the ability for them to teach Reiki to other people.
Exactly. And that's, talk about a really big spiritual growth, because what I found is each level, it just raised the stakes for my awareness and my growth. And so
Yeah,
Reiki Masters, like, you're really committed to personal growth.
absolutely. Reiki 1 is like shifting your vibrational frequency from, like, it bounces it up about 100 times. If you go to Reiki 2, it's 1,000. And if you do master, it's 1,000,000. It's a significant, in orders of magnitude, much stronger acceleration of what is flowing through you, what your awarenesses are, what your abilities are. It's significantly empowering for people. So yes, because who wouldn't want, if their kitty or doggy or their other animal, their snake or their lizard is having a problem, wouldn't you want to be able to do something about that for your animal? You know, and sometimes that can significantly help the animal resolve their issue without
Yeah.
even getting them to the vet. Sometimes it works like that. Same thing with people. It
Yeah.
sometimes you can help them resolve their issue without requiring the need for medical care. And of course, you should get it if you need it, but sometimes things just resolve on their own.
Right. Because the body has amazing natural healing abilities when we give it the right circumstances.
Absolutely.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. And so
Yes.
children, it works for children.
Yes.
When my daughter was young, she'd come home from school. Oh, will you send Reiki to my friend's finger? She heard it on the swing set today. And
Oh, that was so
it was so cute. Yeah. So, there's just lots of applications.
yes. I used to use it to help my son go to sleep at night when he was younger. He would come in and, you know, I'm having trouble sleeping, and I'd like Reiki him, and he'd be out within a minute usually. Really effective. It's great for insomnia.
Yes.
I've actually sent it to crying babies through the phone, and the babies stop crying and falling asleep. And I also I occasionally treat animals. You do it way more often, obviously. But I had I had a friend who is not a believer in any of the spiritual stuff or whatever you want to call it, the woo-woo or esoteric, whatever. Um, he didn't believe in energy at all. And his cat was terminally ill and it was having kidney failure. And I said, "Hey, could I just Reiki your cat? Just give it a try." He goes, "Well, what is that?" I go, "It's just a way to send positive energy to your animal. Is that okay?" He goes, "Yep." Reiki'd his kitty and she lived 7 more years and she was literally terminal. And he goes, "I don't know what you did, but I believe in you." And what you
Yes.
do now. And this guy was a very cut and dry business person. He wasn't into the alternative stuff. So
Well,
it
that's
was
one of the nice thing with animals like that is, they don't have these doubts and is it going to work? They just go bring it
right.
on. And then they have these wonderful experiences. Whereas people, we get those same experiences, except we get in our way sometimes. the doubting and being skeptical instead of just letting it happen.
Self-critical, the other thing is Reiki's great for adjusting your mental state. So if you're like being hyper self-critical, you're anxious, you're grumpy, you can use Reiki to alter your mood. It's really effective for that. You Reiki your head.
Yes. Yes, there are Reiki hand positions you learn in Reiki level 1, and that's what Ariel is
demonstrating.
Demonstrating one of the view of the hand positions. So you can use the hand positions without being Reiki attuned. The Reiki just really enhances, like you had mentioned. It's a whole different way of then putting your hands on yourself.
Correct.
When you have when you are Reiki attuned.
It's a universal life force energy that's always creating the highest good. It's always elevating. It's always expanding and healing. And it always does this according to the needs of the recipient. So if somebody doesn't want it, it won't work.
Right.
If you want it, it will work.
Yes, it's permission based.
Boundaries. It doesn't violate boundaries, and it doesn't give anyone anything they don't want. It only gives people what they want and need, or animals what they want and need. I do want to make a comment that sometimes there are animals that like hate people, and they'll glom onto you if you're a Reiki practitioner.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like my cat hates everybody, but he loves you, or that's what people say to me.
Yeah. I had a feral kitten that was 7 weeks old. A client of mine had a squirrel trap, and so I caught him and domesticated him. And I'd put him up against my heart.
Like the squirrel or the cat?
Sorry, the squirrel cage. I caught my little 7-week-old kitten because there was a feral colony out.
Got it. Okay, just making sure.
And this kitten was feral mother, feral lifestyle, but it was only 7 weeks old. I put it up against my heart chakra, and something happened to the mom because he ended up on my porch just mewing, and I'm like, so that's why I went to capture him and help him. I put him up in my heart, and his natural instinct was fear, just fight or flight. But when I would do the Reiki and up against my heart, he just melted. So you could see that between instinct of fight or flight and to go, I like this. Oh, I like this. And
that's nice.
It was. So then he turned into being this very loving cat.
Oh, that's so wonderful. How sweet. Aw. Yeah, I have in my neighborhood, there's a little barn and a little grouping of horses. And sometimes one of the caretakers rides one of the horses over into the park across from my house, and I'll come up, and that horsey will come over to me and like nudge me, and like he's like, I want some Reiki. I want some Reiki. Put your hands on me. Put your hands on me. Put your hands on me. Hello.
Animals and babies are drawn to it because they haven't been, they're just in that raw, real, taking it in.
Open state. So they do. So if you are a Reiki practitioner and you're listening, haven't you had any animals come up and glom onto you? Like they'll just lean on you, and then when they're done, they'll turn and put the other side on you and lean on you until that gets enough Reiki, and then they'll like put some other spot on you, and then they're done and they walk away. That's so cute.
Yes. Well, and then what I find is at gatherings, there'll be somebody hurting, like mentally or emotionally, and they'll just naturally migrate to me.
The animal or the person?
No, the person, the people. It's like, oh, okay, they must, it's
because they feel your energy.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, she's got the good stuff. I'm going over there. Oh, it happens all the time. I'll be sitting there, at a conference, and someone will sit down and I'll feel my Reiki switch on. I'm like, oh, somebody needs it. Because as you become more practiced and you get more attunements, you do feel the energy more and more. And so you can feel it activate when it's going, because it activates when the person or the animal wants to receive it. So as soon as, even if they're like in your presence, not even if you're just touching them, but just you're next to them, the energy will flow through you into that person or that animal. So it's automatic and automagical. So it happens effortlessly and with divine grace every single time. And I've been doing Reiki since 1994, and it always works and it's always consistent. So I wanted to share that. So for those of you who are listening, how can they find you, Vicki?
I'm at healingyouranimal.com.
Awesome.
Yes. And so how about you, Ariel?
And I'm at arielhubbard.com. That's ARIEL, like the Little Mermaid. Hubbard, HUBBARD, like Old Mother Hubbard.com. We would love to help you guys out. Remember that past podcasts are on Vicki's site under the media tab. You can get her books there. You can get her sprays. You can book a consultation with her, and you guys can get on my website, see my links to my podcast and my blog. And then you can also read about all the different things I do, the classes I teach, and the services I provide. So anyway.
And so if you're interested, if you're not interested in becoming Reiki Master, we do Reiki healing sessions. So we would love to help you. And if you really want to take it to that next level and become Reiki attuned, get in touch with Ariel or me. We would love to help you. All right. Thank you for
absolutely
being here. And do you have any last?
No, just have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening and hanging out with us. It was great working with you, seeing you, talking with you, and sharing with you. And Vicki, as always, thanks for being such an amazing hostess. You're fabulous.
Well, thank you. Glad we do this, and hope this helped you learn a little bit more and is encouraging you to be in your own power and be your best.
Fantastic. All right. Okay, everybody, have a great day. Take care. Thanks so much.